up at the sky, could you actually see the stars and the solar corona in spite of the glare?
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics.
Look into the skies from some unique spots on Earth and you'll be awestruck by the thousands of stars scattered in the night sky. You could even see the Milky Way. These stars are a beautiful reminder of the cosmos we live in. But curiously, when you look at the several images taken in space, and not only from the photos but including every video of astronauts in space, something is missing from these photos. There aren't stars. The background tends to be empty and completely dark. Check this from the Apollo 11 mission, and this from the Apollo 17 mission in 1972, and this footage. Are these mere coincidences, or are these some sort of concurred images? Better still, could there be any reasonable explanations for it? Let's find out. Out there, outside our planet Earth, is unfathomable darkness. The Earth is the only visible object other than the Sun that can be seen. And when on the moon, the astronauts are the only visible element or clear thing one can see in the thick darkness. A major reason why we don't see stars in pictures of spacewalking or moonwalking astronauts is that they aren't visible. The stars are too faint compared to the brightness of the white spacesuits of the astronauts. So when capturing images, they must use shorter shutter speeds and large f-stops to not overexpose the pictures. With such camera settings, the stars become practically invisible. However, keep in mind that the goal is to capture what the astronauts are doing, not what the space is doing. The same effect happens when you try to take a photo of someone beneath a dark, starry sky. To have the person perfectly visible, you have to use a flash or some other light source, and adjust your camera accordingly. When you do that, there is no way you will see the stars in the background. To see the stars, you need long exposures and wide open apertures, but the individual in the picture would appear dark and blurry. Though astronauts have taken many photos of the stars from orbit, you will find many of them on NASA's websites, but unfortunately, not with spacewalking astronauts in the forefront. Why? We were told that in photographs taken from the surface of the moon or from Earth's orbit, the sky appears completely black, and only on a few occasions is a star visible. Meanwhile, astronauts can see them very clearly, only under certain conditions. Perhaps they must be far away from the shades of light and with some specific eye equipment or cameras that can only be easily operated from within a spacecraft or the space station. So, did Apollo astronauts see the stars? Apollo 11 astronauts, who were the first to reach the moon, encountered the effect of the dark sky, where stars are not visible. The journalists did not see a single star in the pictures they took, so they asked the heroes after their return if they had seen any during their mission. To this, Neil Armstrong replied that he had not seen them, and explained why. All manned modules arrived on the moon during the local daytime, which on our satellite lasts for 14 days and 18 hours on average. The experts concluded that night on the moon was too dangerous for a human to stay. Sun was in the sky all the time, and also was our planet, which can emit almost 100 times more light than the full moon. However, after that, Armstrong added that if you hide in the shadow of the lunar module, you can see the brightest stars in the sky. They would be even better visible from the bottom of some very deep crater or gorge, but they never had time to conduct such experiments. We can then conclude that just because you're in space, especially on the Martian surface, does not mean you're standing in complete darkness. The stars only become visible when the sunlight is blocked. You must be facing away from the sun, looking out into space to capture the stars. I think it does make sense. Come to think of it, why can't we see the moon or the stars during the day here on Earth? Not because there aren't any stars in the sky at this time, but the color of the sky prevents us from seeing them during the day. The sky is too light at this time. It appears blue because our atmosphere partially scatters sunlight, and this process primarily affects shorter wavelengths, that is, the blue and violet regions of the visible spectrum. Moreover, under certain circumstances, even Venus, Mars, and Jupiter can be seen with the naked eye from some unique spots here on Earth. Our eyes easily adjust to various degrees of darkness to notice the faintest elements. But during the day, sunlight is simply too intense compared to weak rays of radiation from those distant stars. The camera works similarly to the human eye, because the time it takes for light to travel through the lens of a camera to illuminate the perceiving element, the film or CCD matrix, determines its brightness. It's called shutter speed, exposure, and it should be much longer when capturing stars at night than when photographing objects and landscapes during the day. So, a camera aboard a space station traveling over the lit side of the Earth has even fewer chances of detecting stars than the human eye. All that being said, it is reasonable to assume that when a spacecraft or station is over the unlit side of the Earth, there should be no problems with observing distant lights. Indeed, they are visible, and there are plenty of pictures to prove it. The only problem is that most photos of space show the surface of the Earth, an orbital station, or other space objects. And in the absence of sunlight, they cannot be seen at all, or are seen very poorly. Therefore, they are usually shot over the day side. No stars can be traced in such pictures. So what happens is, the space station has its own lights that illuminate it as it flies over the night side of the Earth. With this light concentrating on the planet Earth, the cameras are able to capture the stars in space in the complete absence of sunlight. That is why the two most powerful telescopes, Gaia and JWST, are hiding from the Sun behind the Moon, staying at the Lagrange point L2. Their shots of distant space objects are perfect. You might wonder, how do the Hubble and James Webb telescopes capture clear images if we can't see stars in space? A telescope is a tool that astronomers use to see faraway objects. Most telescopes, particularly the latest telescopes, gather and focus light from the night sky using curved mirrors, while early telescopes used pieces of curved clear glass called lenses. The mirrors or lenses in a telescope, also known as optics, are powerful instruments capable of seeing very dim things and extremely distant objects. The bigger the mirrors or lenses, the more light the telescope can gather. That light is what we see when we look into the telescope. In conclusion, most people on Earth judge what space is like by the pictures taken by astronauts in flight. Those pictures clearly show that the sky is always dark there and looks starless. That's not true. There is a bug in between. Stars do exist and astronauts see them regularly. They are just poorly represented in pictures. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified each time we release a new video. You could also check out the next video on your screen. See you there.